Today, we're unpacking a really dynamic shift happening in the global tech world. We're going to go deep into the data behind Vietnam's rise as a serious player in artificial intelligence. Think of this as your high-level briefing on the investment case.
So here's the core thesis, and it's a big one. A new hub for AI innovation isn't just emerging in Southeast Asia. It's accelerating and fast. And we're talking about Vietnam.
And look, this isn't just a hopeful story. The numbers behind this are absolutely staggering. Projections show AI could tack on over $79 billion to Vietnam's GDP by 2030. To give you some perspective, that's like adding a full 12% to the entire economy. That's the scale of the opportunity we're looking at here.
So, you have to ask, right? Where is all this momentum coming from? Well, it starts right at the top. Let's dive into the government policies that are really fueling this transformation. You'll see, this isn't happening by accident. It is very much by design.
Now, what's so striking when you look at this timeline is just how methodical it is. You see this clear progression from a big-picture digital plan in 2020 to a laser-focused AI strategy just a few months later, and then followed up with serious data protection and infrastructure plans. This is a government that's moving with real speed and a clear purpose.
And their goals are crystal clear. They're built on three really essential pillars. First, talent. They're aiming to train 7,000 AI experts and get 500 AI startups off the ground. Second, the economy. They're targeting the digital economy to hit 20% of GDP, and that's by 2025. And third, the backbone, the infrastructure. We're talking almost 100% 5G coverage and building out huge hyperscale data centers. It's a complete blueprint for success.
Okay, so a national strategy is great on paper, but we all know execution is what really counts. So who's actually turning these government plans into reality? Well, the story really starts with the telecom giants. They're the ones building this new future.
And what's interesting is this isn't a one-size-fits-all market. The three big telcos are each carving out their own strategic lane. You've got Viettel going all in on deep tech and controlling the whole stack. Then there's VNPT, which is focusing on practical solutions for the government and big industries. And MobiFone, they're all about making it accessible, targeting everyday consumers and small businesses with a platform play. And let's just zoom in on Viettel for a second, because their ambition is on a whole different level. They're not just using AI, they're building the entire thing from the ground up. We're talking everything from their own semiconductor chips all the way to their own large language models. This tells you they want to be a foundational tech leader, not just another customer.
And here's the really smart part. They're not trying to do it all alone. This shows their strategy to speed up innovation and lower the risk. By teaming up with global heavyweights like NVIDIA, Intel, and Asus, Viettel is basically plugging directly into the world's best tech. It's a massive shortcut. Okay, so the domestic story looks really strong. But for any serious investor, the real question is always, how does this stack up globally? Let's get into the hard numbers and do a little comparative analysis.
So let's just ask the question directly. Ambition is one thing, but what do the capabilities look like right now when you put them side by side with the competition?
Let's start with people, with talent. Vietnam's goal of 7,000 top-tier AI experts is ambitious, for sure. But then you look at a regional competitor like Thailand, which is aiming for 30,000 professionals, and it really puts the scale of the challenge into perspective. This is going to be a fierce competition for talent.
But, and this is a really important but, when you zoom out and look at the whole innovation ecosystem, Vietnam is already punching way above its weight. It's ranked third across the entire ASEAN region for innovation, so it's already established itself as a real leader in its own neighborhood. So let's pull all this into a balanced scorecard for a moment. On the strength side, you've got this amazing, vibrant startup scene, that powerful government mandate pushing everything forward, and a top-tier competitive spot in ASEAN. But on the gap side, the things investors need to watch are the talent pipeline, which needs to grow, the data infrastructure, which still needs to scale up, and the regulatory environment, which is, still evolving. Okay, so we've looked at the strategy, the key players, and the competitive landscape. What does this all mean if you're looking at it with an investor's eye? Let's bring it all home and deliver a clear investment verdict.
So here it is, the investment thesis in a nutshell. The opportunity is huge, a high-growth market with clear top-down government support being built by an incredibly dynamic private sector. The challenges are just as clear. There's a critical need for more investment to scale up talent and infrastructure, and you've got to navigate a brand new, very strict data protection law.
So the final analysis is pretty clear, really. All the signals are pointing in one direction. With strong policy support and real corporate ambition, Vietnam is on a fast track to becoming a seriously competitive AI hub in the region. We've laid out the strategic overview for you. The data tells a really compelling story of growth and ambition.
But it all leads to this one ultimate question for any forward-looking investor. Is Vietnam the market that's going to define the next AI frontier? The full report has the deep dive you'll need to answer that for yourself.